So when it comes to like the restrictions, the policies, research, and documents, the main character thrives in this area. He's doing great, but what he's not thriving in is everything else. Like he's being horribly ignored and isolated by his coworkers. One of these coworkers steals his documents and destroys the office the main character was working in. Like literally does that, which is a literal crime because the documents the main character had were documents that belonged to the Royal Army, which means he stole from the Royal Army. The main character goes and talks with this dude, which, he's like, give me back this stuff and I won't say anything. I'll cover it up for you. Just bring me back my stuff or I will go and, tell the royal doctor what you did. And, the royal doctor came across this dude's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you back your stuff, and then bumps into the main character. Doesn't purposely mean to harm the main character, but because of how weak the main character's body is and they're kind of at the edge of steps, the main character falls. And his guard gets hurt trying to protect the main character. Both of them falls, which is why I also ship the main character with his guard. But yeah, they both fall and get injured. And then another thing that the main character does is the fact when the main character wakes up, because the main character had fallen asleep after everything, like he fell asleep. He had been crying for his guard when he realized how injured his guard was before he fell asleep. And then when he awoken, he realized Melly was going to severely punish the dude who stole his documents and his cronies. And the main character's like, don't punish him. It's my fault. And the Melly's like, yeah, the royal doctor is getting punished because he knew you were being isolated by your coworkers. So he's getting punished by having his pay, deducted. These are getting fired because they stole from the Royal Army and then harmed you. You are literally my wife and they harmed you. And then the fact you tried to cover up for these people and you're still trying to cover up by using your own body to try to convince me. Like he's pleading at the Melly saying that he should be the one punished, that he'll do anything as long as the Melly doesn't punish these people, which angers the Melly. Like the Melly's still going to punish them, but their punishment is going to be a punishment for the main character. He's like, they're getting punished because your actions. You wanted to cover up for them, which they were going to get apprehended for that because it's a crime. And then they're getting punished more because you're still trying to cover up for them because they physically harmed you and you don't realize the severe crime they committed. And that you're trying to go against the words of your boss. Like, no. So after everything, the Melly drags the main character to his palace and he tries, devouring the main character. And yes, the main character has done things, but those things were done back in his past life. Like, he is a pure virgin. The Melly had stolen his first kiss. So he's frightened. Like, yeah, he's aroused and he's excited that he's kissing the Melly, but he's also terrified of losing his virginity and tries fighting the Melly off. He's like, please don't do this to me. I don't want this. And they also the main character also is like terrified because he doesn't think he's worthy of the main character because he can't physically protect the main Melly anymore. He can't be the Melly's shield, so he doesn't think he deserves the Melly because he's not masculine enough. He's not a manly man. Which leads them to have an argument. Like the main character tried running away out of his frightness and his insecurities, which the Melly chased him down, dragged him back, and threw him onto his bed. They have an argument over it. The main character is a little freaking out. He tells him all about his insecurities. The Melly's like, no, you're worth it. Just like how the main character's father told him back in book 1, he doesn't have to be physically strong. He doesn't have to be a manly man to be deserving of love and care. Like, he is perfect the way he is. And that the main character has to finally accept, like, he literally screams at the main character that he has to accept that he's physically weak. That there's nothing he can do. That he can be protected. And the main character will never have freedom. He will never be able to leave because the Melly is not going to let the main character quit. The only way the main character is leaving his job is when the Melly gives him permission to leave his job. Is that he has to accept it. He has accepted. The only freedom that the main character is going to have is freedom that the Melly gives when the main character finally accepts the protection the Melly is trying to give him. Like, the Melly is going full-on possessive, controlling. Like, the Melly is becoming the main character's family, which the Melly full-on has intentions of luring the main character into a cage. He's like, the main character had been in a cage all his life, and he wants the main character to come into his cage, but by his choice, by the main character's choice. He wants the main character to have the freedom that he provides the main character. And the main character understands the Melly's right, that he has to sooner or later accept it. And the Melly even states that he used to be protected by the person he loved, and it frustrated him that he couldn't protect the person he loved. And that's why now he wants to be so protective and caring of the main character, because he doesn't want the same thing that happened to his partner happen to the main character. like he suffered over it and he doesn't want to suffer again. They have more sexy time when the main character goes to take a bath, and the main character takes a bath thanks to help of the male lead. The male lead helps the main character bathe. And when the main character is waiting for the male lead to finish his bath, the main character picked up the clothing, and he realized the clothing smells like the male lead, and he's like, oh, this is really nice. And then he realizes he smells exactly like the male lead, and he's like, oh my god, I smell like the male lead. And he gets hot and heavy over it. And when the male lead realizes the main character hadn't got dressed while he was bathing, he questions the main character, and it dawns on him after a bit of questioning that the main character is hot and heavy. And when he finds out why the main character is, it's, drives his beast wild. It drives his beast wild. Like, he wants to devour his little wife. He wants to take his little wife apart. He wants to eat every little bit of his wife. He has to control himself. But they do have a little bit of sexy times over it. But outside the sexy times, I'm also a little angry because the male lead was looking for, like, old, scars that the main character had on his body in his past life. He was literally looking for those scars. He was trying to find signs of the main character's past self on the main character's new body, and then was going, no, I can't keep seeing the main character as the past self. I have to see the main character as the main character. And goes, I will one day tell the main character I love him when I finally stop trying to compare the two, or I stop seeing the main character as the past self. But he's like, but I know I cannot let the main character be with anybody else but me. The past lover and the male lead has another conversation about the main character being the past self, and they were like arguing, like, he's like, you have to see the main character as the main character. Even if the main character is the past self, he is who he is. And the dude's like, if he is the past self, because he even admits that he might not be able to love the main character for the main character. He only loves the main character because of the past self, but he might be able to come love the main character for the main character. And Mel lead's like, you will not be taking him from me this time. I will love him. I love him for who he is. He literally tells this dude, even though pages later during the bath scene, he himself was still searching for signs of the past self in the main character, and denounces him for himself over it. Like, these two men literally argue over it again. And this was after someone had pointed out all the document and research the main character was doing about 18 years ago during the war, like the research the main character was collecting. They were like, oh, the main character is very knowledgeable. It's amazing that he's looking into stuff 18 years ago. And the two men are like, oh, that's suspicious. Why doesn't the main character know information that was 18 years ago? And it sparks another argument between the two men. And the male lead's like, I'm not going to lose this time. The main character belongs to me. I will have the main character. You better back off. And I'm like, amen.